Hello, everybody, and I'm Mel, and we're doing our 4th Facebook Live, which is so exciting. And I'm here in Melbourne, and we're in our autumn at the moment, and we are having rain. It's so funny about Melbourne because a lot of Australians believe that Melbourne rains twice a week, once for 3 days and once for 4 days. That used to be the old joke about Melbourne, whereas we actually barely get rain now. We can be in drought a lot. You know, things have changed with climate and the earth, but today we've got a lot of rain and we need it. So it's awesome. So I love doing these Facebook Lives, and it's great to connect in real time with you in this way to answer your most pressing questions about narcissistic abuse. And I'd love to hear from you, those of you who are joining in on this call today. What's your name? Well, that's going to come up because it's Facebook chat, but where are you from? And please drop a note and say hi. That's really cool for you to do that. And already this morning, it's been really busy. I had a beautiful interview about turning pain into purpose with my darling friend and colleague, Catherine Woodward Thomas, which was just so inspirational. And I got off that not long ago. That was amazing. And this week's been so busy with lots of projects and the house that I'm living in at the moment, because those of you who know me might know that I renovate properties, and we've had all the internal walls pulled out. So myself and my lovely partner, Brad, we got home from Darwin and had to spend hours cleaning up dust and the place so that it was inhabitable. So it's all part of thriving. It's incredible what you can actually do. And my book, which is You Can Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse, there are so many exciting, incredible things happening with that, which I cannot wait to share with you. The manuscript's done. It's now getting out to certain people. Our publisher, Watkins Media, are doing an incredible job with spreading the word about it. So it's just so exciting. And Jenny, hello. I'm so glad that you caught me live as well. Ines, you are such a beautiful contributor to this community. I love you to pieces. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Harry's here. Harry always, his MTE support, and Harry has the most incredible ability to make people laugh, even when they don't want to laugh. Fiona McClintock, thank you for being here. Corrine, I love you, sweetheart. Hi from Canberra again. It's beautiful to have you here. And Lisa, thank you, sweetheart, for turning up. And it is my absolute pleasure to help you. And Ines, we all love emoticons. They're so gorgeous. Thank you for those, sweetheart. And Martine, it's lovely to see you too. And Fiona, great for you to connect with the crew. Fiona is one of the moderators in NARP Central, and she does an incredible job. She's been one of our pioneers right from the start, which has been fabulous. Hilma Rose, so many people that I know you guys, and I love you people. Jan, it's beautiful to see you. Enesy, I hope that I've said that right. And yeah, get on your device, Christina, that's going to work, because we've got a lot of amazing material to get through today. So Ebony, hi. Natasha, hi. I love how we do this, how we all connect together. It's just amazing. So you know what? I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to keep checking in with you guys, but I'm going to kick this off, and we're going to talk about some of the most common questions that have been asked since last time. And we know last time, those of you who tried to join me, we had all sorts of internet outages that day. NBN was being a nightmare in my suburb, and we had to boycott the whole thing, but we've been stable ever since they sorted it out. So fingers crossed that we're going to all be great. Hi, Mike. It's always great when guys turn up. I love that. I love that men are becoming more evolved and conscious. It's and open about it, which is, you've always been able to be evolved and conscious, but you're joining in now, which is so good. Dawn, Hello, sweetheart. It's lovely to have you, and we'll see if we can get to your question, but I'm just going to cover a couple of the things that people have been asking about. Then I'm going to hand it over to all of you to answer your questions in the best way that I possibly can. Okay, so all right. So Stacey Anapra's asked, how do I find out what topics I need to clear when I'm doing quantum healing work? Stacey, our body, our body always gives us the answer. When we feel some dense energy and we feel like I'm just not on my game or something's not right with me, all we have to do is start going within and say, where is this trauma? Somewhere in my body's going to light up. And then when we go to it, we may or we may not get information. And what's so important to understand is we actually don't even need to know what it's about to clear it out with the quantum freedom healing process. Information is helpful if we do get it to connect to the emotion. But even if we don't have information and we can feel it in our body, even as a dense energy, then and just be with it with body open and breathing, we're going to load it up with quantum freedom healing, shift it out, bring in source, and you will heal it. Our body, because, I think the thing is what happens is we try to work it out logically. What's my next thing to clear? What's my next thing to clear? The most direct path to healing is, you could even, if you're not feeling dense energy, just say to your body, show me the next thing that I need to clear. Ask your body, it will give you the answer. So Patricia from a Facebook chat has asked, can both types of issues, narcissism and codependency, result from some kind of childhood trauma? Absolutely, both do. Because with both the narcissist and the codependent, what is happening is we're trying to source self from outside of self. So we didn't have to modeled that childhood where we were able to be able to create and generate an inner identity that felt whole and safe at the levels of love, approval, survival, and security. So because of those fractures from childhood, either codependently we're going to give to get, or as the narcissist does, is manipulate and become pathological in order to get. Absolutely, they both come from that. And they're both actually codependent in nature, because to me, a codependent means needing to source self from outside of self rather than being a whole source of self. Okay, so I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to come over to all of you guys. I think that's going to be the best thing that I can do. All right, so Bodeween from Facebook chat has asked, my question is about the energy that's been the number one item that made it so hard to pull away from all of it. Okay, the number one item I would say that has made it's so hard for us to pull away from a narcissist is that we believed unconsciously that they were the savior of what was missing within us. So that's why we enmeshed with them so much emotionally, and it felt like home. It felt like we were getting that missing part of ourselves. So that's the thing that bonded us with them so deeply. And it's not until we heal that thing that's missing or fractured or not yet developed within ourselves. And a trauma is always responsible. We've received traumas that haven't allowed us to become that. So when we find those traumas and we release them and we organically, which we do through quantum freedom healing, become whole in that area, then we've no longer have our toxic bond of having assigned the narcissist as a savior of that. And then we can let go. Then we can move on. That is the number one key. And we can have that in quite a few areas that we've had missing. It may not just be the one. We have to find those, which is what NARP does. So I'm going to come over to all of you, and I really want to work out where we're going with that. And so let's have a look at what some of your questions are. And I'm just getting them up now. So just hang on one sec, because I've got an easier way that I can do this, which is, you know what? I think I'm going to do one more, because there is one more here that's got my attention first, and then I'm going to go over to you guys. So how about we do that? All right, let's have a look at what we've got. No, I'm not. I'm going to come over. Look, don't worry. It's been one of those mornings for me. And, you know, and I say it's menopause all the time. I do. I say this is menopause. You know what? Sometimes I can channel the most incredible information, or I can go to the supermarket, and if I haven't written down a list, I'm like, what on earth am I buying here? And I just walk mindlessly up. And I've had some blonde tips. Maybe I could call it that. No offense to blondes. I know blondes are some of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. But it's been a hectic morning, and once we get the channel going, you don't have to worry about me trying to cope as an everyday human being. So technology and me and three things at once are hilarious at the best of times. And you know, I need to take a dose of my own medicine. As far as menopause goes, I really need to do some quantum freedom healing shifts on it, because I kind of just live with it. And, you know, my partner, Brad, just looks at me, babe, and he just nods his head and he goes, is that menopause speaking, or is that Melanie? So, and my beautiful friend, Christiana Northrup, is such an amazing person for working with menopause. So her and I need to have a chat. It's just, I find it amusing. That's probably why. Oh, good. Everybody's coming up with my menopause solutions. Hey, what a beautiful exchange of energy. I'll give you quantum freedom healing solutions. You give me menopause solutions. I really like that. All right. So, you know, this is going so fast. I just want to have a look at what we hear. All right, Robin, you've said, I was with him for 36 years. Why did he just leave for somebody who was obviously after money, etc., and addicted to drugs? Now he is marrying her. Oh, Robin, you know, it is just so painful when narcissists discard, devalue, and replace. It's so painful. And look, this is the thing. We can go into why they did it, how they did it, what they're doing. The truth is, when we trying to work anybody else out, unless we're them, we will never know the answer. We could never know the answer, and our salvation is not in that. And this is what I love to do with the quantum way, with the Thriver way, is to say, as hard as it is, you know, we could be stuck in that mind loop and trying to work that out for the next 5 years of our life. And that's not where our healing and our resurrection is. Where our healing and our resurrection is why has this happened in my experience? What is my soul pushing me to evolve and heal so that I can break through to my true self and my true life? We know that when we're with narcissists, whether it be 5 years, 20 years, 40 years, we are not living our highest and our best and our true experience of relationship, mutuality, love, compassion. We're not living as a divine being as we're supposed to be living in a love relationship, and we never can with these people. So I know that it's so painful that he's left you for somebody else, but you know, you are one of the lucky ones. And you may not know that yet, and my heart goes out to you, but I promise you, when you turn inwards and you look at the quantum way, and I'd love you to come into my free webinar to start unraveling and healing this and getting relief very quickly, you will start to understand that this is such a blessing in disguise. I know it's so painful, but it truly is going to help you a lot. Once we come into our inner being to start healing it, those questions about them, the obsession about them, the needing to know about them goes. It just goes. And eventually, and it takes time, we've got to put the work in. You will get to a point where you will not even be thinking about him. It just will not even figure. It just will not even be a thing in any shape or form. I promise you that. I promise you that. So, all right, now let's have a look at Dawn Glover Cash. said, my new husband's ex-wife has been diagnosed with MPD, as well as his 18-year-old son who lives with us half the time. We've only been married since the beginning of December, and I'm so exhausted from dealing with the two of them that I'm ready to throw in the towel. Help. Oh yeah, this is tough. This is tough. And the thing is, you know, we try to get somebody else to put down boundaries and do the right thing and do what's going to protect them and you. But the truth is, we ourselves are the only person who can take responsibility for our own boundaries. So there's a couple of things in this. You know, this is about you deciding your values and your truth and what you are and what you aren't willing to work with. And your boundaries may be, well, the rubbish with them and you is your stuff that you deal with. I will detach from it. If it crosses over into my boundaries and my well-being and my life, well, then there are parameters of what I will and what I won't accept. And it doesn't mean I love you, but I cannot take responsibility for your stuff if that's, we can't fix anybody and we cannot take responsibility for another adult. We can help empower them, and often we empower them with our boundaries and where we will or won't be, and they may need to rise to meet us there. The other thing is too, if we see people in our life that we care about, if we see them as hopeless and handing over power and not getting it and not, we actually hold an energetic space where that's how they're going to be in our experience. But if we do the healings, ourselves on all of that, how we see that person, we release our trauma and our pain and disappointment and frustration and anger. If we release that with Quantum Freedom Healing and we start holding a space, that person's inner being is going to rise. They're going to get it. They're going to get empowered. They will actually start doing that in our experience. Incredibly powerful. I cannot tell you just how powerful that is. That's quite incredible to start experiencing that with people and seeing that. So I hope that helps. And Rita has just said self-care, self-care, self-care. Yeah, you're so right. When somebody else isn't getting it in our life and they're hurting themselves, we have to look after ourselves. You know, Al-Anon teaches that. It's a very, very powerful principle. And Hilma has said, you know, in regard to what we were talking about before, she said, you know, we are blessed when we get discarded, seriously blessed. And oh gosh, for those of you that have been discarded or are not at that place because you haven't done the inner work yet, I totally get it. But I promise you, when you do the inner work, you will, you know, you'll really bless that other person that took the narcissist off you, and you go, oh my God, you poor thing. You are so in for the ride of your life. But obviously, you know, your soul has ordained that this is what you need for your evolution too, because it is all imperfect and divine order. You know, and when life and our soul decides enough's enough, it will evict us out of situations, and we're very blessed when our soul will do that for us. Okay, Catherine, this is a big one. How to deal with cutting off contact when there are suicide threats, and my last cord to cut is the guilt. He's got cancer. How do I let go of the guilt and the fear of death? Oh gosh, it's a huge sticking point. Catherine, I want to ask you if you're working with NARP, because the only way I know of to get rid of emotions and feelings and our natural way of being, which is to be compassionate and care about people to our own detriment. The only way I know of to get rid of those strong emotions, conditioning and wiring is Quantum Freedom Healing, which is what I did to save my life and what thousands of other people have done as well. So when we target that sticking point, as you've put it, that block, when you target that and you start releasing that and you bring in source, which is your true self, which is a state, and that state will free you, because your true self is not about self-sacrifice to the detriment of self. And the thing is, as we know with narcissists, they know our weak points. They know our conditioning, our programming, our emotional giving that allows us to get hooked into them, which they prey on to get us to hand over power, self, energy, narcissistic supply, and literally our soul. So Quantum Freedom Healing, please, again, come into my free workshop. Have a look. Target that guilt in the Quantum Freedom Healing we do together. You will get a free super boost to getting that guilt out of your body. And I want nothing more for you than to be free. So I could try and talk you round into it. I could try to get you there, but our wiring is 95% of our makeup. Our mind is a teeny 5%. It's like trying to stop a stampede of an elephant with an ant. It doesn't work. We have to hit this with quantum tools that can reprogram the subconscious program. So I hope that that makes sense to you. I really, really hope that that helps. Okay. So Sarah has said, can somebody be partly narcissistic and partly kind and caring and keep switching between the two? You're actually naming an altruistic narcissist. That's actually what an altruistic narcissist does and what most narcissists do. Let's think about it. To get what you want, if you were going to manipulate people, of course, you'd be charming, you'd be lovely, you'd be giving, you'd be all of those things, because this is how a narcissist gets you hooked. Also, too, when you're ready to leave, when you're going to go, when, you know, you're going to cut off narcissistic supply, it's like they will do whatever they need to do to get you back into the game. Being nice, kind, and caring is part of it. And we can obsess forever, like I did. You know, both the narcissists in my life could be the most delightful, beautiful men you've ever met in your life. But what I learned, the common denominator of a human being is where are they willing to go? What are they willing to do when they're suffering an ego injury? A person at their lowest point, what line will they step over? Because that is the human being you're dealing with. Doesn't matter what they do, that's beautiful. I hope that that really helps you understand. Oh, Brett, thank you for your beautiful comment. I'm so pleased that I could help you too. Dawn, I'm glad that helps. And Stacy, oh gosh, I saved my own life. I'm so happy that you feel that way, and even more so that you've actually had that experience. That okay, so Tess, you're saying, I've done module 1, the long and the short version, cried so hard I was glued, impatient, but wow, wasn't expecting to cry like that. Is that normal? It feels like it will take forever. How much I feel has piled up over a long time. Yes, it is. It is very normal to have a release where you cry. I remember when I used to do the really deep core programs and others, I would wail, I would sob, I would just, oh gosh, and it's great. It's a great release. You're letting go. Our life is about letting go of what does not serve us and opening up to what does serve us. Letting go is everything. And the beautiful thing about when we use quantum freedom healing is we're not in regurgitation, because people can be in deep depression and cry and cry and cry over the same thing for years and years and years and years and years, but they're never actually getting a neuron pathway shift. But with quantum freedom healing, we're doing shifts all the time. So you're getting a shift on that topic every single time. It's getting lighter. You're clearing out, you're unpacking the baggage, the trauma, the blocks. And I know it can feel like, when am I going to get to the bottom of this? I went through that for a very long time as well, until I realized a couple of things. The first one is that if I can unconditionally love myself right here, right now, and settle into the journey and say, well, every time I meet my inner being, it gives me a chance to love myself even more, that took so much of the sting out of it. And I started to love the process. Then it fast-tracked beyond description. Also, too, I had the experience of one day was like pulling bricks out of a wall, and I pulled out a brick and the wall fell down and there was this beautiful paddock. One day it happened and I'm like, oh my God. I always knew and it accepted and loved. There's always going to be more to shift. There's always going to be trauma come up in my body that I can release and even go to a higher, more expansive expression of my true self. Yeah, I want that. But it was like, I'm home. Everything's going to be easy from now on. I promise you will get to that place where your wall will fall over if you just keep at it. So many people. And I've even met people that are ready to quit. They're ready to stop. And they are 1 minute away from the miracle. And it's like, no, don't. And you know what? It's often when you go, oh God, I just can't do this anymore. And then you go, okay, I'm just going to accept. I'm going to settle in. I'm going to love the process. You are that close. It's not funny. I hope that makes sense. I feel that with every cell of my being for you. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we can have here, which will be amazing to answer. Okay. Ebony has asked, how do I shift the anger and the shame of being tricked and groomed? Oh, yeah. During the love bombing stage. Oh, yeah, Ebony. It happened to every single one of us. I get you. I hear you. I never let my walls down to trust on that level. Well, this is very key, what you're saying. So I don't understand why this is who I choose to trust of all people. I love what you're saying there. Honey, when we've had trust issues, which is unresolved trauma, and we've all had it before, narcissists, where we've been hurt before, we've had childhoods that possibly didn't honor us in a way that would have been completely helpful for us to develop, because when we thrive, when we get through our traumas, what we actually are is open and authentic. We trust ourselves. We actually don't even have to trust other people. We just show up as ourselves. If something feels off, we question it. If we need to lay a boundary, we lay a boundary. And we see people unravel and unfold in front of us. Whether we trust them or not is completely actually irrelevant, because we walk a journey with them trusting ourselves. When we've had it the other way around, which is before narcissistic abuse, we had been wounded, we had been traumatized. The narcissist was able to identify where we'd been wounded and traumatized and appear as the absolute savior of all of that and somebody who would never hurt us at that level. So we went, oh, bang, I'll open my heart to you. I'll let you in. I'll enmesh with you quickly. I'll believe you with all of my heart. And then it's almost like the Trojan horse. Helena Troy, the Trojan horse got in, the gates were shut behind it, and then could come out and attack. And that's exactly what a narcissist did to us. So how do you forgive yourself? See the big picture. See what is really, really, really gone down here is that when we have unresolved trauma still in our inner being, life, God, creation, our soul, the universe is perfectly aligned for us to say that you have still got unconscious trauma that is holding you back from being your highest, freest, most radiant, empowered, joyous self. With that trauma still there, you cannot be that person living at your highest expression. So we're going to bring to you those fears from the outside, from the field, to make the unconscious conscious so that you can actually heal it and free yourself. That's what happened. When you start to do the inner work and release the trauma, that knowing becomes so organic and powerful through your cells as soul humanity truth that you never doubt it. And then it actually has nothing to do with the narcissist at all, because if they hadn't have shown up in your experience, somebody else would have had to. That's the answer. Catherine, you've gotten up. Beautiful. You've gotten up. That's fabulous. Well, the work to do is to actually say, I'm going to look. Okay, so Catherine, it's like everybody that's gotten up. What hurts right now? Say to me, to your body, what are the core traumas in relation to this wound? That's exactly what you go to. So Rachel, thank you so much for your help. I'm so glad that I could help. I keep working NARP modules and responding with no emotion, only when absolutely necessary outside of no contact. And the NARP was sending massive threats to me, my family, regarding destroying then all of a sudden I heard very little. Okay, look, and what you're saying is that as you worked and you didn't respond, of course narcissists are going to escalate. They're going to go, well, I'm not getting narcissistic supply. I'm not getting this person to fear me. I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to make the threats more. And that's actually when they can shoot themselves in the foot, because if you record those and you take them to the police, you can get an intervention order, or you can take it to the courthouse and they will lose custody settlements. When you stay calm and empowered and don't respond, a narcissist will unravel. Okay, and you got discarded because no more narcissistic supply could come through. That's fantastic. That's, exactly what you want. So within, so without. You're no longer a match for me. My life will go on without you. Do adult children, I love this question, Barb, do adult children ever realize that their father is a narcissist, and what does it take? Do you know what, Barb? We need to get past the point of that. The most important thing that we can ever do for our children is to heal ourselves and to become an effective parallel parent who loves them, who has healthy boundaries, but who also can allow our children to make up their own minds and to be their own identity. We want to empower them to be themselves and to be able to speak up and to be able to have their own beliefs and their own realities and come to us not because we need them to, but because we want them to. So when we try to actually get them to see what another parent is, often we push them away from us. And the more we try to make our children get something, the more they push back. And again, what I love with healings with our children, and I've worked so much on this with my own son, Zach, is that when I stopped trying to control what he was doing, thinking and feeling, and I did the healings to let go of my angst about what he was thinking, feeling or doing, and held the space in my healings that his journey is perfect for him. He's going to come into his true, most authentic self for him. I see that, I feel that, I know that about him. That's exactly what happened. My son sees the truth very, very clearly about lots of things that I've never, ever had to force down his throat. And that happened organically. So the more you try to make them, the less they will. I'll tell you that every time. Okay. So NSC is saying, I'm so scared that I'm going to have to break no contact. His children attend my son's school, and I'm terrified of seeing him every day. I go to the school and live in the same suburb. Will I ever be able to overcome this? Yes, absolutely. NSC, with inner work you can. And again, it goes back to trauma and conditioning and programs that are so powerful. Narcissists hit all of our survival programs, our primal, deep human survival programs. I found with myself with crippling agoraphobia, where I couldn't even walk out my front door, when I finally had the super tools to be able to get out of fear. I was terrified of the narcissist everywhere. I would have had to literally, I was only safe in my house and safe houses, people I knew where he couldn't be. Everywhere else apart from another planet, I felt like I could bump into him. It was that bad. When I had the quantum tools to finally heal that stuff, what I discovered is my primal terrors were, I am not safe in life. I could be taken out. I could be annihilated. And these were all things from past lives. These were all things from genetic terror. These were also things from female primal terror. Once upon a time, it still happens in the world, a woman cannot be safe walking down the street on her own. She could be a target for rape, murder, all sorts of things. And we're not physically strong enough to defend ourselves. So I promise you that when we have the terror of running into a narcissist, it is so much deeper and bigger than just running into the narcissist. They represent everything to us about our primal, deep survival terrors. When you clear those NSA, you won't give a crap whether he's 2 feet in front of you. I promise you. I was terrified of my ex-narcissist. I lived in the same area as him. When I cleared my traumas and my fears, I never bumped into him because I was yin, he was yanging. We're on a different emotional, vibrational universe. And I did once. I walked past him while he was walking past me. I had a hoodie on. And I say this to people, by the time he'd passed me and I got to the next pavement, a slug at the side of the road was more interesting. There was I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh God, that's him. Oh, bang, gone. Once upon a time, that would have put me in bed in deep depression for a month. I wouldn't have been able to move after that. So I cannot recommend the super inner tools enough to pick up all of those primal terrors out of our being, get them up and out of our being, bring in source. Source is I am an authentic self. I am a light that dissolves all darkness. Darkness cannot exist in my light. We are not even afraid of dying after that. I promise you. Gosh, I hope that helps you, because narcissists push us to the brink to heal this stuff. Well, otherwise, we would never have gone into those deep terrors and, work with that. So, Julie, you saying that resonates with me. My ex is lovely. We were talking about before, how people can be so nice and then they can be so cruel. And narcissists are just, they're very, very, very good with that. They are. Okay, NSA, you are so welcome. Gosh, I hope that's really helped you. I hope that has so helped you. All right, so Debbie Edwards has said, after 10 years with an extreme covert, I filed for divorce. Now he's calling 3 to 4 times a day. He's putting money in my bank account. He's saying he'll always be there for me if I need him, and saying we don't need attorneys. Oh, gosh. I'm afraid if I go no contact, he won't help me out with bills, but afterwards I cry for hours. What do I do? Oh, gosh, this is normal. This is not, he's hoovering you, Debbie. He is hoovering you. So what he's doing is he's going, okay, and we don't make deals with narcissists. Let me tell you, oh my gosh, when we make deals with narcissists, we go, okay, well, he's going to do this now and he's going to do the right thing. Everything you do with a narcissist has got to be through a court order and has got to be accountable, because you don't make deals. And a narcissist is just as likely to say, okay, well, I don't honor that deal. I'm not doing that deal. He's putting money in your bank account. Oh, God, that's dangerous, because if you accept that and he's got a record of that, then he's got tools against you. We have got to become our own source with narcissists. Otherwise, they hook us, they keep us, they make us dependent, they blackmail us, they do all sorts of things. Debbie, you know what this person is capable of. You know what you've been going through. 10 years. Too bad, too sad, too late. Because the thing is, once you file for divorce, I've been through all of this, and you come back into the ring and you say, okay, let's give it another go. The narcissist's false self, their ego, will set out to punish you horrifically for what you've done to them, which was, how dare you think you could live without me and leave my false self, and insult it. They can't help themselves. The cycle of violence gets worse after you've nearly left if you go back. Please come into our healing tools. Come into one of my free webinars. Please get on my free resources. This is a danger period that you're in, but you can get through it with support. All right, so Jenny has said, hi, Melanie. I feel silly and embarrassed asking this, but is it unusual that a part of me gets disappointed when he doesn't hoover? Of course it is. Oh gosh, we all went through this. We hoover and we go, okay, we've got to stand up, and then it goes all quiet and we go, oh my God, have they moved on? Are they with somebody else? Don't they love me anymore? Don't they care about me? That's our inner child, which is saying, people who love me desert me, people who love me abandon me, people who love me don't value me. When we hear, and all it is doing when we feel that pain and that disappointment, all it's doing is pushing us to heal another unhealed trauma, which is when the people I love ignore me and walk away from me, I feel abandoned, deserted, rejected, not worthy, not good enough. Heal all of that, and I promise you, you won't care. Oh God, you won't care at all. Yeah, so you're waiting. Okay, you're waiting for it. Heal that stuff inside, and I promise you won't even think about it. That's exactly how that works. And, it's such a beautiful day when we wake up one day and we go, oh, God, I'm not even thinking about that anymore. And when we do Quantum Freedom healings, something that was so impactful 10 minutes ago or half an hour ago, we come out of the healing and we go, oh, I can't even think about that anymore. Like it's just not there. It is that powerful. Okay. Oh, Donna, the video the other day for alienation, I really wanted to do that. That was so important to me. Okay. What you can do now, obviously with a community of around 90,000 people, I can't do direct contact. My days are already so incredibly busy with what I do. But Dana, what you can do is email support@melanietoniaevans.com, and my support team are fantastic. They'll put you onto what can really help you. So, that's really important to me that you get the help, but it's important for people to understand that, I literally wouldn't get sleep if I was just doing private messages. I can work one-on-one with my clients, but it's very hard to do that. And that's why I do things like this. Okay, so Dawn has said, my new husband's ex-wife. Oh, no, we've already looked at yours. Let's have a look at this one. Debbie. We've done you. All right. So let's Brett. Okay, Brett. I think my N is altruistic and seems to have most of the signs of being antisocial, personality disordered also. Will the Quantum Freedom Healing Program still help for me? Not as sure. Okay, I love this question, Brett. This is a really important question because there are people that ask, well, I'm not even sure if I'm with a narcissist. Will Quantum Freedom Healing and the program help me? The program would help you if you were having problems in a relationship with a unicorn. Okay. The program's actually not even about the other person. It's about what they've triggered within us that's disappointing, abusive, or even just painful. What wound is triggered within us that the program will go to find within us to release and reprogram so that we have a completely different relationship experience with ourselves, lives, and others. So, Brett, that's my answer. Even if this person is a unicorn, it will help you. It's got nothing to do with who they actually are. And that's not minimalizing anybody's experience, because all of our experiences are unique and painful and so disappointing, and we've blamed ourselves and we've been so confused and running around in circles. NARP untangles and heals all of that. There are people that are doing NARP that have never even had a narcissistic experience because they knew of people that have worked with it, who know the principle of it, and that person said to them, it doesn't even matter whether you're with a narcissist or not. This program is going to help you exponentially, which it does. So I hope that really helps answer that question for you. So Darlene de la Paz has asked, when somebody displays NPD tendencies and you feel you've identified the N for what it is, how do you become certain without a medical diagnosis, especially when self-doubt? Okay, this is exactly the same thing. This really is. Let's finish this question. When self-doubt and confusion are running so rampant, are there other conditions that may be similar but don't mean that person is completely void of empathy? I love this question in so many ways, darling. Thank you so much for asking it. This is the thing. Every time we're trying to say, oh gosh, are you narcissist or are you anti-social personality? Are you even a bit Asperger's? Or maybe you're just selfish? Maybe you've just got away with a lot of stuff in all your relationships. What's happening is we're not becoming the generative source of our own experience. To become the generative source of our own experience is to say, what are my values and my truth? Who am I willing to be, and what am I and am I not willing to receive in a relationship? And when we get clear on that, so obviously things like, integrity, decency. I put out on Instagram not long ago, I actually had a little short video on, before I met my partner, Brad, I had certain criteria. And they were things like, I needed somebody honest. I needed somebody who was able to be supportive. I needed somebody who was absolutely able to take responsibility for stuff when they screw up and say, I'm sorry, and I want to evolve, I want to grow, I want to work as a team. I want to do whatever it takes to make this relationship healthy and for me to get healthier and evolve. They were non-negotiables for me. Absolutely. And during the relationship, there were times when that got tested, like any relationship, where I would have to say, well, you can be whoever you need to be, but this is actually my truth, my values, and this is where I live, and they're my parameters. And I actually don't go outside of those. So you can either meet me here or we can separate. And he met me there. He absolutely met me there. But I was willing to say, now, if you don't, it's no go. We know with narcissists that they do not share our values. They don't do honesty. They don't do compassion. They don't do sincerity. They don't do teamwork. And if we shore up those values and we let go of all of our guilt and all of our brokenness and all of those parts of ourselves that we're handing over power in the past, we have to heal those so that we can have true, correct, self-honoring boundaries. And then it doesn't matter, again, if we're with a unicorn, okay, or a narcissist or a selfish person or somebody who's just undeveloped. We can say to them, this is where I stand. This is what I do and I don't accept. Join me here if you like. If you don't, I bless you. I still love you, but you need to do your own journey. It's got nothing to do with who or what they are. Now, a narcissist, of course, can feign that and they'll go, oh, of course, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And, you know, we have so many reports in this community of narcissists that go, I found God. I love you. I'm never going to do that again. Come join me. I'm cleansed. I'm cleaned. I'm healed. And when you say to the narcissist, you say, well, you know what? You've actually done a lot of damage and we need to discuss that. And I really need to see what that looks like in real time. Where are your values now? What are you prepared to do? If we have a disagreement, are you prepared to, you know, this is what I need. This is what I will not accept anymore. You give it a poke with that stick, and they'll go, I've told you I'm healed. Why don't you trust me? How many times do I have to say I'm sorry? They haven't got an answer for you because they haven't changed. So, you know, when you self-honor and you've done the work on yourself, and this isn't a mental cognitive thing. You can't just go, okay, well, I'm going to go to the narcissist and say that, because your inner wounds, which is, mine were abandonment. I didn't feel like a source of my own security, my own survival. I needed him for that. So, you know, as soon as he'd start doing a twist or a turn, I'd hand over power and I'd go, okay, I get it. I get you trying. I get you love me. Oh, okay, I'll trust you. I'll believe you, because I was too terrified to go, because I wasn't my own source. When we're our own source, we just go, well, this is it. This is who I am. Yes, it will be painful to break up, but I am not willing to compromise myself, my values, my truth, my soul. Meet me here or don't. Can you see the difference? So a narcissist can't meet you there. They won't. So if we stay with narcissists and we haven't shored up, we're going to keep handing over power. We're going to keep getting abused. We're going to get hurt. We could get with an undeveloped person who goes, okay, well, there's a new concept for me and I don't quite get it, but I love you. And hey, I want to grow. I want to evolve. I want to learn. I'm going to meet you. I'm going to learn this stuff. Bingo. Great. They don't have to be perfectly developed, but they're not a narcissist. A narcissist will not do that ever. Gosh, I hope that helps. I really hope that helps the people that are hearing this. But without our development, you know, we get one hit on our inner trigger. For me, it was abandonment. So I try to hold a boundary. The narcissist in my life would go, you know what, Melanie, too much, can't be bothered with this. Go find yourself the perfect man, right? And they'd walk out the door. My terror of my inner child abandoned, feeling like she was going to die, would flip out. And I'd had every reason going through my head to get back in contact, to make it up, to bring them back in, to try and work it out a different way. Whereas now, if somebody did that to me, I'd go, It would hurt, but the adult, mature, developed Melanie who knows her values and truth would go, okay, you're not the right person. You know, thank you for being truthful. And I'm moving on. Okay, there's a huge, but without development, oh God, we get tripped up. And you know what? Narcissists are masters at knowing where you are not developed and where to hit to get you to hand over power. That is why they are the ultimate experience to us of healing and finding our stuff. Because without it, we don't do that, we get torn to shreds. And it is life-threatening for so many of us. It nearly killed me. That's why I'm so passionate about this stuff. Lisa Victoria, I hit the nail on the head for you. Oh, God, I am so glad. Darlene, thank you. It's my pleasure. I really hope that's helped. And Brett, you're saying that's exactly what she does to you. Go find somebody else. And then I would, and then she'll come running back. And of course they come running back because they don't expect you to take them up on your bluff. And if you take them up on your bluff, the ego injury says, oh my God, you know, narcissists dick with us. They play with us. They play with our gaps and our insecurities and our unhealed parts, and they smash us to pieces with it. We've got to find them, and we're like a fortress with holes in it, and they keep coming through the holes. We've got to find our holes and heal them. And then I tell you what, we're done with them. All right. So let's have a look at this. Robin has said the nights are hard. I get so angry of wasted years, discarded after decades, and he just lives his happy life. He cleaned out bank accounts, and I fought to survive, struggling with so much anger. You know, Robin, I totally don't want to make this about me. It's about you. But I want to empathize with you, and I know you did years and years and years. And, you know, I lost 2 properties and everything I'd worked for 40 years of age, and he cleaned out everything, and he went off with all of it, and I had nothing. And I get it. I burnt in hell over that for months. I get it, the anger and the pain of, and you did it for decades. Oh my God. Okay. The answer is these are emotions that are really unresolvable on a human level, because, you know, we could go to therapy forever and we could talk about it forever. And when we understand peptide addiction, we understand that the more we think and we feel and we talk about it, the more we actually hardwire our inner identity to, I was a person abused by somebody who ran off with all my stuff and took everything, took the best years of my life. And that's your inner identity story, which is your inner identity. So what we have to do is get into your inner identity and get all of that painful stuff and clear it up and out, bring in source, because source, how source God creation sees you, which is the energy that's behind everything, which is life force itself, how it sees you is perfect and whole and healed right now, regardless of anything. How we want to feel, despite our victimization, how we want to feel is perfect, whole and healed right now, regardless of what's happened to us. We want that. So when we release those traumas of intense, unresolvable victimization, which is what we get from narcissists, and we quantumly release those and bring in source, we literally feel healed, whole, and free right now. And the crazy thing is, we actually feel more healed, whole, and real than we ever did, even before this happened to us, despite what we have. You know, Anki, who's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous woman in this community. I remember when she started working with Quantum Freedom Healing, she'd lost everything. She was living in housing commission. She was 50. She'd lost her health. She'd been diagnosed. She couldn't work. She couldn't do anything. And she'd lost everything. She started releasing and bringing in source. And she said, you know what? I haven't got anything. I haven't even got a house. I haven't even got a job. I haven't even got money. I'm the happiest, freest, most amazing I've ever felt in my life. From that place, Anki now has a property. She's working. She's exercising. She's riding horses. She's doing all the things she ever wanted to do and love. She feels the most happiest, radiant. This woman is glowing and radiant and stunning. She looks 15 years younger than she should look. And everything's falling into place for her better than it ever has. So this is a quantum lesson we learn through narcissistic abuse, that sometimes we have to lose it all to get it all. to get it all properly at a soul aligned, free level. That was certainly my experience too. This is huge. There is nothing bigger than giving up, those traumas that our ego has suffered. They're intensely painful, but I promise you, quantum healing at that level gives us the ability to heal the unhealable. When you get resolved on an emotional level and you're free inside, that's when everything follows. So within, so without. So Robin is saying, I wish I could work with you. Robin, I don't know whether you're on NARP or not, but if you are a NARP member and you're working the NARP modules, Robin, you get to work with me every day as many times as you want because, everything I'm talking about and all those healings, they're all in NARP and they've all got energetic imprints. And I'm giving you shifts every single time that you work with them. So, it is totally beyond powerful. Robin, I hope that helps. I really hope that helps. But, NARP's your answer. Candace, can you explain the basics of Quantum Freedom Healing Method and what shifting is? Okay, so the basics of Quantum Freedom Healing, the basics. You really have to, let me just say, Candace, come into a free webinar and experience it for yourself. It's very hard to understand energetic, unseen healing without actually doing it. It's an experience rather than a logical explanation. I'll try. The logical explanation is what it does is Quantum Freedom Healing takes our brain into a brainwave, theta brainwave, which bypasses the logical cognitive brain. Neuroscientists now have proven that our logical brain has actually got nothing to do with our subconscious inner programs. It doesn't even access them. So the way we think normally is in relation to our already existing emotional programs. I call it stinking thinking. When we've got a trauma on a topic, our brain will only think in the stinking thinking. It's wired to follow the emotional resonance of our programs. What Quantum Freedom Healing does is slows down our brain pathways to bypass the logical brain to get directly into our body to access our emotional brain, which is our subconscious, which is through the cellular network of our entire being. And through there, we can communicate with our subconscious in the language that it understands with the specific visualizations and energy imprints of Quantum Freedom Healing to load up the responsible trauma, the core traumas, and to get them up and out of our being, and then to bring in source, which is life force, God creation, which has the power. It's a higher power. It's our super conscious, if you like. It has the power to heal what our logical mind, first of all, can't even locate, let alone rearrange or heal. Our logical mind at best can try to manage a trauma with a strategy, but it only has 5% power against a significant trauma. That's why we usually default and it doesn't work at all. It can actually make us worse trying to use willpower because we fail. Then we beat ourselves up and then we tell ourselves that we're useless, we're hopeless. Why aren't I getting over this? Why can't I just get on with my life? We feel like total failures when we try to address our emotional inner trauma with our logical mind. But when we go directly to it, we have an incredible experience of self-partnering, which is about loving and healing ourselves back to wholeness. And then we start to understand quite quickly, this is what I've been looking for. You may have heard the expression, looking for love in all the wrong places, when we've been trying to get comfort outside of ourselves. And often we're doing that with things like chocolate or cigarettes or alcohol or bad people or sex or, too much TV or addictions or oversleeping or depression or whatever we're trying to do to self-medicate. But when we go in and we actually heal at the direct level in our subconscious, we have this experience of, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting to do for my entire life. I feel like I've come home. And the interesting thing is this kind of information is something that was anciently known, that we have got the power to heal ourselves back to wholeness on emotional, physical, mental, financial, any traumas at all. But we were conditioned and programmed out of this. We were told your destiny, your life depends on what I tell you or what I'm going to give you. we've been set up in a very narcissistic world and models rather than self-love, self-partnering, and self-wholeness. Because when we start loving and healing ourselves back to wholeness, we start relating to all of life in others in holistic, healthy ways. We stop the whole codependent toxicity that's been happening with abused, one person at a time. It is that powerful. So Mike's just saying, is theta wave similar to the state of mind when you wake up in the morning? Absolutely, it is. It's a drowsier state, but it's also an incredibly powerful focus state. And quantum freedom healing takes you into it immediately. At first, people get really quite drowsy with it. A lot of people say, oh God, I'm falling asleep in modules. And, and we have lots of stuff in our tips modules about doodle, even stand up to, don't lie down when you start doing the healings, to train your being to be in theta brainwave, doing internal rewiring while you're awake. And you even get that good with it and practiced at it, that you can do quantum freedom healings while you're out walking. You can do them, mini ones on yourself when you're shopping. You can, I do it all the time. I do it even when I'm driving. I shouldn't tell you that. Please don't do that at home. But I do them with my car on cruise control on the freeway. I'm doing shifts. With my eyes open, I can do them. So it becomes such a life, I'm feeling a bit of an uncomfortable trauma. Okay, where's that in my body? What is that? Load it up, get it out, bring in source. Whoo, I feel all this spacious relief. I've just expanded and evolved myself on something. Yay. I'm a more evolved, expanded whole human being than I was 5 minutes ago. That's the kind of life tool it is when you get used to it. So come into a free webinar. Those of you out there who haven't done it yet, come do it. Because you know what? So many people come into the free webinar and they're like, I don't know what to expect. What's this kooky woman from Australia talking about? What's really happening? And then we get emails and we get reviews on SiteJabber and we get all sorts of things. And people go, oh gosh, it's 3 days later and I still feel amazing. I just did this half-hour thing and I don't know what happened, but I've got hope. For the first time, I've got hope. If you read on SiteJabber, the reviews of people that have come into the webinar, but, better still, don't read it. Just come do it. It's gentle. It's beautiful. It's, it's an experience that we all need to be having after narcissistic abuse. There's just no two ways about that. So I hope that's explained to you, Candace. Marla was saying, my 13-year-old son told me he can't express his true feelings to his father for fear that his father will punish him with silent treatment. Yeah, exactly. That's, that's what narcissists do, because it's happened before. It breaks my heart. Okay, I really want to talk about that. It breaks my heart. We're both in therapy. How do I balance a fine line of trying to provide advice to children, dealing with an out parent and protecting our children? It's so hard when you have a child who still wants contact with his in parent. Okay. I am so passionate about this topic, so, and I went through all of this stuff with my son on just levels that nearly ended his life. It was that bad. Both him and I nearly died through narcissistic abuse. So massively passionate. Okay, now the first thing I want every parent to know about their child, when we say it breaks my heart, we've got to get out of that. We've got to get out of that. Of course, it's natural and we care and we love our parents and all of that sort of stuff. It breaks our heart. But if it breaks our heart, it breaks our heart. If we're not okay with something, our kids are not okay with it either. They came out of our womb and our beings. So what you have to do is do the work inside you where it's like it's all in perfect and divine order. He's doing a journey of self. There is nothing that hasn't come into his soul experience that wasn't meant to be for his development, his healing, his evolution, even his karma. And I know that he is going to grow into his true self and this experience is going to empower him. And when we get to that, our children start rising and meeting us at that level. When we get okay with something, our children get okay with it. When what they see us not brokenhearted, and we're not broken, and we're evolved, and we're, the ex-narcissist in our life, we're going, okay, well, that's just him. But that doesn't mean we're not amazing and we're not great and we can't have a great life. And it doesn't mean that we can't, learn to speak up. Of course, it's scary at first. And of course, we can feel minimalized and we can feel abandoned. Of course we can. That's normal. But we're growing. We're developing past that. We're becoming real. We're becoming authentic. And we know that if certain people are going to be dicks, there's plenty of people that are fabulous. And they're the people we align with and we do stuff with. It doesn't matter if one particular person, even if it is a family member, lets us down, because we're still whole and growing. Right? Get to that. And your son will get to that. He'll be that. Because whatever we are, they rise and meet us there. That's what happened with my son. He is the most amazing, evolved, and he blows my mind with the things he does and he comes out with. And I go, where did you learn that stuff? And I know where he learnt that stuff, by example. I didn't shove it down his throat. I just started living it and saw him like that. And then he just was it. Okay, got it? How do we heal our kids? Heal ourselves. Pronto, bingo, that's it. There's no other answer. Heal yourself. Okay, you've got it. You've got it. You can see how passionate I am about that. Oh, my God, you could get me on a stadium and I'd scream that out to every parent that would listen, because you know what? When I saw my son devastated and broken and dying and killing himself, and just when I held him there, it nearly happened. When I healed that and stopped seeing that, and saw who he really was at his true self, authentic soul, God creation level, and I became that myself, it took 3 weeks for somebody who was on a suicide mission to become an incredible young man. And I didn't say a word to him. I did it. I just did it. So do it, okay? Yep, heal yourself. Your child will heal. I hope everybody hears that. So beautiful. I love you all so much, and I love our kids. And if we are going to change this world from what it's been, generation after generation after generation of abuse and abused, we have got to lead the way. We've got to be the change. We're in rapid change. Everything's changing. Our generations before us didn't know this stuff. They weren't doing this stuff. They were all in survival, codependency, and symbiosis. Our whole world has been narcissistic. If we don't change it now, it's going to be too late. We have to do this, and we are doing this one person at a time. It's beyond exciting. It really is. So everybody, so much love to you. It's been amazing, amazing joining with you. And how wonderful that the internet stood up the whole time, that we didn't have 6 or 7 goes, and how amazing that, I got past my little kind of menopausal fog at the start to be able to, get this together. And, it's going to be great. Our follow-on conversations from this. What's always so good about this too is we get lots of things to look at. The Thriver TV episodes are always very excited about your contributions, about your requests. I'm here to serve you in the best way that I possibly can. That's my life devotion and powerful commitment to you, which I will always stand for. And thank you so much. I hope I've answered everybody's questions in the best way I could. And please know the entire team's here to serve you. And the beautiful thing is, for those of you who do become NARPers and you come into the NARP forum, where we do lots of intensive training and support, is that you have the ability to have your quantum freedom healing and narcissism and development questions answered 24/7 by trained moderators and incredible thrivers who, again, are holding the space for you in a powerful healing container for you to meet them there. And the amount, when we have group healing intention and powerful containers, it is much more powerful than what we can do on our own. So I really recommend those of you who are on NARP, who are not in the forum, to come into the forum. And for people who are wanting exponential evolution to become your truest self out of this nightmare, then that's the way to do it. Come into my free webinar, have a look at it. Let's do a healing together. Let's get relief and power going, and we can take it from there. So that's it from me, everybody. So much love to you all. Okay, lots of love. Bye-bye.